From the shores of Monster Island to the depths of the Hollow Earth. Not another Kaiju podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to Not Another Kaiju podcast. It is your host for this week, Nick, joined as always by Dennis Nedry and David.
Could you not remember who I was?
No, I'm just looking at the StreamYard screen, and I just can't take my eyes off of Jacob's profile.
Oh, I see. I understand.
Yeah, he's made his name Dennis Nedry.
Dennis Nedry himself. Not Wayne Knight. It's actually Dennis Nedry.
It's really Dennis Nedry.
He survived all those years.
He did nothing wrong. Anyways, well, the reason there's good reason why Jacob is cosplaying Dennis Nedry virtually. We may be not another Kaiju podcast, but today we're doing something Kaiju adjacent. I mean, I would argue there is a ton of spillover from giant monsters to dinosaurs. We're going to be talking about Jurassic World in anticipation for Jurassic World Rebirth, which comes out in, 5 days?
Yeah, like
at the time of this recording?
July 2nd, I think. And I've already seen it, but no spoilers.
Yeah, so Jacob got lucky out of the three of us and managed to get into the early screening. What was that about? Like, I had heard whisperings of it, but I wasn't really paying attention.
So Regal and AMC do this thing every now and then. Regal calls it Mystery Movie Monday. AMC calls it AMC Unseen, I believe.
Screen
Unseen, thank you. And they'll basically play a movie that's not out yet as a little tease. And at Regal, the movie costs $5. So you pay $5 after taxes, it's $7. And you go sit down, and they will not tell you what the movie is until it plays on the screen.
So you basically saw the new Jurassic World for $7.
Yes, I did. But basically, there were some rumblings, both from theater employees kind of spilling the beans and whatnot, that there was a high likelihood of Rebirth playing as the movie Monday. And I went, yeah, I'm going to take a chance and roll the dice. And it was cool.
Well, I also seem to recall that the Jurassic World marketing team was also playing a little into it, because I swear I saw a video of Gareth Edwards with the cast being like, oh my god, it's confirmed, it's happening on Monday. And they didn't say what it was, but it's like, well, there's already been rumors. What else could it be?
That video is what made me go, yeah, I'm buying a ticket. I'm going to take the chance. But usually they don't play big movies like that. So a lot of people were like, I don't know. Because the last big movie to be Mystery Movie Monday at Regal was Gladiator 2.
Is it always like new releases, or do they it's Mystery Movie Monday and it's like Goodfellas or something?
No, it's always something that hasn't come out yet, but will be coming out very soon.
I've never been to any of them. It would have been nice to have this one be my first, but I was indisposed at the time.
I also missed out on that opportunity. I also missed out on the opportunity to go to the premiere. Because I didn't realize that it was happening in New York, and you could request tickets to go on this website called 1iota. So for those of you that don't know, movie premieres aren't as exclusive as you think they are. All you really got to do is go to this website called 1iota and find wherever like an event is. They usually do it for red carpet premieres or like tickets to late night talk shows. And all you got to do is request a ticket and explain to them why you want to go. And it's like a first come, first serve basis. There's no guarantees.
Can I interject real quick, Nick?
Yeah.
Even if you are approved on the site, if tickets sell out at the theater itself, they will turn you away. It happened at GXK to a friend of mine. He was the last one in.
I remember when Minus One had its premiere in Hollywood, because that's how some people got to Minus One. Our friend Mary was telling me that, yeah, some of her friends had tickets, but they still weren't able to get in.
Yeah, so it's a good way to get to the door. But if, I don't know, the certain amount of people that fill in the seats get there before you in line with those guaranteed tickets, then they'll turn you away. So It's still a roll of the dice.
But yeah, no, I was actually really surprised. They went all out for that premiere. Like they rent out the entire Lincoln Center. I thought it was just going to be how they usually do red carpet premieres in the city, where they just stick a step and repeat in the corner of an AMC and just have a bunch of press people taking pictures. But no, spared no expense. But anyways, moving on to today's topic, Jurassic World. Now, if you have listened to any episode of this podcast, you know that most of the time, Jacob and David, they pretty much hold a majority in the consensus of whatever it is we're talking about, whether that be, oh, we like this or we hate this. And I'm just left to defend myself like a scared little puppy. Well, today will be no different because according to these two naysayers, Jurassic World is not as good as a lot of people say it is.
Who other than you, Nick, I don't know if there are any people saying Jurassic World is a good film.
You're really gonna hit below the belt right off the gate, right off the gate. Okay, all right.
Can I come out and defend myself against these claims?
I'm just playing it up, Jacob. I know you think this movie is okay.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. It's a movie.
Was I really hyped to go see this movie when it first came out? Because I was 16 years old, and it was the first Jurassic movie in 14 years. Oh, yeah. Did I think the end kaiju-esque battle between the Indominus and the T-Rex was one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen at that time? Yeah. I just think it hasn't aged that well, but I think part of that, and my hot take here is part of that comes from the reception of the sequels. Because when everyone looked at the trailer and the posters, I remember when it first came out, everyone was like, yeah, Chris Pratt riding a motorcycle with raptors, that's cool.
And then by the time Fallen Kingdom came around, Chris Pratt was in like 50 other movies, and everyone's like, Chris Pratt again, oh God, kill me. Which I get it. I mean, as much as I like Chris Pratt's work, I can sort of see why people are having Pratt fatigue.
He's Mario. He's Garfield.
Wahoo. Oh my God, I totally forgot he was Garfield.
He's Garfield. I hate Monday.
Not my Garfield. Hashtag Bill Murray.
So I also see the jokes on like I'm a frequent lurker on the Jurassic Park subreddit. I see the jokes in, leading up to Rebirth. Everyone's been like, "Are they going to stick their hand in front of the D-Rex and like tell them to stop?"
Oh, if they do, I'm going to smuggle in a bottle of whiskey and I'll take a shot for that.
So like some of the things that started in this movie really, really jumped the shark later on, and I think it was a little more grounded in the first Jurassic World because it was them trying to bring it back, and I think the sequels kind of gave a bad taste in terms of like looking back at it.
No, that's totally fair. Last time I watched it was about like a year or so ago, maybe more. I don't exactly remember, but I don't know, like it's one of those movies where my opinion of it doesn't really change the more I watch it. It's not like, oh, I don't like this as much or I don't like this anymore. Because I mean, in my opinion, it just does what it needed to do. Like it was very much like hey, remember Jurassic Park? Well, what if it was modern and there was a functioning park? Which is something that I've always wanted in a Jurassic movie. I mean, despite the franchise's names, we didn't really get much park aspect, like as far as like a functioning park until that point. So yeah, it was cool to see like what would a fully functioning dinosaur theme park look like. And of course, we all knew it was going to go exactly how it went. There's no surprise there. But I think as far as like bringing the franchise back for modern audiences, it did a pretty solid job. It didn't do anything like groundbreaking, but no, it was good. I was very much a fan of like the Indominus Rex. As soon as I learned that they were going to make a hybrid dinosaur, my mind immediately went to the Jurassic Park 4 concepts. I was like, at first I was like, oh my God.
They didn't go for that.
They're going to do it.
All right, I was going to save this for when we talk about Jurassic World Rebirth, but Universal, just make Jurassic Park 4. You know you want to.
And again, a lot of consensus on Rebirth is that people are sick of the hybrids. And where did it start? It started with this movie. But everyone seems to like the Indominus. It seems like the reception is a little mixed on the Indoraptor. I don't watch the Netflix shows, so I couldn't tell you about
Tisk,
the Obelisk
tisk.
Rex or whatever.
Tisk, tisk. Tisk, tisk.
So then, not to talk about the new movie too much, but then this D-Rex comes around and it's a legit mutant. And I'm not spoiling anything. This is news that's out there. It's been out there as long as the film's been in, publicity. It's just a mutant. It's just the cloning process gone wrong. But I think it's weird because everyone's complaints about the current state of Jurassic as a franchise, it all started with World. But everyone kind of likes this movie, which is kind of weird.
This might be a hot take. I'm in the camp that unfortunately Fallen Kingdom is the best out of the three, purely for trying to do something different.
Hard agree.
It's not a good movie, but it's the best out of the three.
Can you repeat that? I kind of blacked out when you said that Fallen Kingdom was the better of the three. What the fuck, man?
Listen, Nick, I do not speak when I go to see a movie in theaters. There is a certain point in Fallen Kingdom, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, where I audibly out loud said, "What the fuck?"
I just like the attempt at a more darker tone. Like, I love the Indoraptor on the rooftop with the dark cinematography. I think J.A. Bayona was a really cool directing choice, but
I agree. Bayona's very, very, very talented. But Colin Trevorrow...
The Giganotosaurus is the Joker to the T-Rex's Batman. I forget where I read that somewhere.
That was in the marketing. Well, not in the marketing, but he said it like in an interview or something.
Yeah, he was like during like the press junket circuit.
Yeah,
was, like,
press junket. That was.
And I remember. I didn't even bother with seeing Dominion in theaters. I think I watched it on Peacock like, I don't know, 7 months after the fact.
That was the way to go.
Oh my, no, I couldn't be bothered. I could not be bothered with Dominion. I was in no rush to see it. And then when I was like, oh, I think I'll go see Dominion, I was like, oh, it's at theaters? All right, whatever. No problem. But I remember I watched the movie and then I remembered he said that. And I'm just like, my guy, you really don't know what you meant by when you said that, do you?
I don't know. I think the 2015 film is just as dumb.
It's perfect. It's fine. It's so aggressively fine. That's where I'm at.
It's safe. It is safe. It is one of the safest blockbusters ever.
It's enough to keep the fans of the original engaged and just enough to keep new fans engaged. And of course, remember Jurassic Park? Here's the original Jeep. Here are the goggles. Oh, look, there's the banner.
This one, it definitely is like the most guilty of being a nostalgia bait movie.
A member berries movie, I think, is what people call them. And I'm very well aware of that, but you know what? I like it anyway. I was like, what, 19 at the time? I was young. I was excited for a new Jurassic World movie. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. Or a new Jurassic movie in general. And I'm like, yeah, that was good. I liked it. And I don't know, I just thought the Indominus was the coolest fucking thing ever. I'm in that camp.
I thought
it can camouflage.
I thought the Raptors. Yeah, but in the books, the Carnotaurus could do that.
This is true.
They never did it. They never did it.
if you looked online, there is a Carnotaurus DNA in the Indominus.
Oh.
But that's not but that's not the reason they give for why it can camouflage. They say it's cuttlefish DNA. That's why it can camouflage. Get your fucking facts straight.
But there is Carno DNA in there, yeah. The one thing I do like about Jurassic World is we've seen him a lot now, but the incorporation of the Mosasaur was what got me hyped.
Yes.
I was like, dude, yes, Mosasaur! Because I was like, where could they take this? Because, you know, my favorite Jurassic movie is Jurassic Park 3, as infamously stated.
You know what? I will defend you. Jurassic Park 3 is an underrated movie. I will stand by Jacob.
It's pretty great. You're in and you're out. The Spinosaurus is cool as hell.
I only have a single Jurassic World Hammond Collection figure to my name, and that is the Spinosaurus. So that should tell you where my loyalties lie.
Shout out to any kid in 2008 who made Spinosaurus slideshows to the animal I have become.
Me, I did it. And it was to, I know the song. It was Hate by Drowning Pool.
Hey, you still got that somewhere, Jacob?
No, it's lost.
Your T-Rex one is still up, right?
Yeah, the T-Rex is still up. But where I was going with that is that where do you go from there in a not jump the shark human dinosaur hybrid kind of way? And my opinion is the marine animals, because we had this, the Pteranodons in JB3. So it was really cool that we saw, Mosasaurus. It would have been cool to see like a plesiosaur or something, because if you look at the lore, apparently there's a plesiosaur that was planned for the original Jurassic Park. But I'm happy we got Mosasaurus. He's a cool guy. Is he absolutely gigantic and way bigger than science ever stated? Yes, but I don't care.
What did Alan Grant say? What InGen did was create genetically modified theme park monsters. Nothing more, nothing less. We find fact in the rock.
Yes, but that was the high point for me. I thought that was really cool.
What would they do, like, if they went from the hybrids to the marine dinosaurs? Like, obviously, it would need to be near water. So, like, how would you make marine dinosaurs the focal point?
Well, if the park is functioning, they could make an offshoot that's like SeaWorld.
Oh, okay.
And it's all you got. Because I used to religiously play Jurassic World Evolution 2 and build my own parks. And like over 2/3 of my park was all marine prehistoric life. So... like Pteranodons, Chronosaurus, Mosasaurus, Plesiosaur.
I mean, but ultimately, like, I don't think that movie could work as simple. Just don't go in the water. They can't go on land. Just stay out of the water. Boom, movie over.
What if it floods?
Yeah, then you're fucked.
All right, get on a roof. Find high ground. Yeah, you might lose some people in the initial chaos, but eventually you'll find like a roof or something.
What if they're semi-aquatic, like the Spinosaurus?
Oh, yeah. Or do you remember that movie Crawl?
I love
the
Crawl.
alligator. What if they had a Deinosuchus, dude? The largest crocodile to ever live. There is a Deinosuchus skeleton in Fallen Kingdom. So there was a Deinosuchus on Nublar at one point. But yeah, like, that was my highlight. And, it's a 10-year-old movie, so everyone's seen it. So... seeing the Mosasaur kind of get the finishing blow on the Indominus was kind of epic.
That was pretty cool.
It's fun. Again, like that whole final battle is fun. I'll admit that. And that I feel like that's kind of all the movie has going for it. It's just fun. There's not much else to it.
I mean, it's not as thought-provoking as the first one. I'll give you that.
Or even the second,
but
for that matter.
Like I said, I think it's a movie that set out to do what it needed to do. Like, they wanted to make a fun summer blockbuster reboot to the Jurassic franchise. And this was like peak MCU. The MCU was in full swing. They knew the types of movies the audiences wanted to see. they're not going to sit through something like Jurassic Park again. We got to make this a big
because
CGI.
the original's boring.
Anyways,
just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move past that. We'll get to that later if need be. They went in with the idea of a summer blockbuster in mind, and not something, and not cinematic art like the original, or like an artsy type film.
I see where you're going with it.
I'm not saying. Yeah, okay. Let me redact that. I'm not saying Jurassic Park is on like the same spectrum as like is on the same plane as, say, something that would be on like the Criterion Collection or something. But like it's definitely is, like, compared to Jurassic World, more of like a serious movie. Like it's yes, it's about dinosaurs, but it's also about like the characters. But meanwhile
does the
in
original Jurassic Park have Jimmy Buffett?
Oh my God, no. Meanwhile Jurassic World is just like your typical summer blockbuster characters, expendable characters. They're very cookie cutter.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just giving you a hard time, Nick. My favorite cookie cutter moment is when the security dude with the hard hat is just sitting on the ground and he looks over at Chris Pratt and then you just see the Indominus fucking eat him. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and all this isn't to say that it's a bad thing. It's a fun movie.
Like I said, Chris Pratt riding a motorcycle with velociraptors. That's something you'd hear in 2015 as well. That'd be really cool. Like that's peak 2015, man.
They're not pulling that in 2001. I think like the closest we got to that in like the original Jurassic Park movies was Billy with the parachute and the pteranodons.
Yeah. But even then there were some like pretty dark moments, like what's her name that got picked up by the pteranodon?
Zara.
Oh,
and then,
yeah,
the
the
pteranodon
babysitter.
got eaten by the Moza. Like that was brutal, man. And that character wasn't like evil or anything, which is something I do like.
The thing about that is, I want to say, because like I remember that was like a kind of a source of controversy when the movie came out, and then I think the actress came out and was like, "Oh yeah, no, I wanted like a really violent death. I knew I was gonna get killed by dinosaurs. I wanted it to be as brutal as possible." I'm like, you know what? I respect it. I respect the hell out of it.
Does that mean that they had like a different idea for her death?
I don't know.
Because like how far into like the movie, how far into like the process of like making the movie were when she said like, "Oh, can it be brutal?"
I have no idea. We'd have to interview her Katie McGrath. We gotta get Katie McGrath for the next KU interview.
I don't think I've ever felt more bad for like just a side character than that. I'm like, she was just doing her job. She's got a family and everything.
That's the one thing I think the film does really well is everyone gets attacked and she gets killed. And, obviously there's like park security and mercenary guys that get picked off, but most of the other people are just regular people and you see them visually get killed. It's not like, in the original or the Lost World even, where all the guys that get killed are the bad guys and everyone else is pretty much safe unless, I guess like, Samuel L. Jackson's character in the original was just kind of a normal guy, like a good character. But, we just see his arm. And there's reasons for that scene being the way it is, but it was a nice.
You never know. He's going to show up in Rebirth.
Yeah, or
he's like I've been in this cave the whole time.
Or like Muldoon, but this was different. It was a pretty morally fine character, side character. She was just their babysitter. You didn't really expect her to get like drowned by a pteranodon and then eviscerated by a mosasaur. They usually save that over the top death for the main villain. Even like Vic Hoskins, like I think his death is like the raptor comes in and just like gets him and it cuts away. But yeah, like stuff like that I really like about the movie. Or the sequence where you see all the guys' like heat signatures and heartbeats and mission control and their cameras, and you just see them go out one by one. I love that.
I love the just like the stillness after that sequence happens. Everyone in the control room literally has that expression of like, what the fuck just happened? And then Chris Pratt just goes, evacuate the island. I thought that was executed really well. Like, damn.
Yeah, that was good. Like, I don't hate this movie. It's fun.
You know, I was just playing it up.
Oh, I know. But stuff like that. When I first saw it, when I was a teenager, did I think T-Rex and Blue having a little buddy friendship was fun and wholesome? Yeah.
We were this movie's demographic. Of course, we were going to think at the time that Chris Pratt riding motorcycles alongside velociraptors is the coolest shit on the planet. Hell, I still think that's the coolest shit on the planet. That I'm not gonna. No, that's awesome.
I wanted him to ride a velociraptor.
I'm surprised we never got that in the entire trilogy.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Honestly, I wouldn't have put it past them. But yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of moviegoer where I like a serious film like Jurassic Park, but I also like schlocky summer blockbuster fun.
I did want to highlight Michael Giacchino's score too, because I was listening to that leading up to this episode. I actually listened to the scores for the whole trilogy going in, and I think he did a good job. And he incorporated some of, and he did some of John Williams' music, woven with him.
Did he do all three movies?
All three. Giacchino is like, for me at least, he's a very hit or miss composer. I really like his stuff on Rogue One, Planet of the Apes, these films, and then stuff like Spider-Man. I'm like, whatever. I don't really care.
But dude, then he does something like the Fantastic Four theme, and you're like, dude, yeah.
I actually haven't heard his Fantastic Four theme.
It's pretty dope.
All right, I'll take your word for it. That makes me excited, though.
I mean, I'm looking at his Spotify discography right now, and I mean, it doesn't really seem hit or miss. We've got Up, Ratatouille, Inside Out, Mission Impossible, The Batman, The Incredibles.
No, don't get me wrong. He's got a lot of good stuff.
He's got bangers.
All right, I guess, yeah. And you also got to remember that film composers, they can compose like 9 million projects a year, so
exactly. Yeah.
There's bound there's bound to be some shitters. Okay, Thor Love and Thunder.
I thought that was someone else. That was Love and Thunder. Ragnarok was what I was thinking of. Ragnarok was the guy in Devo.
That fucking Ragnarok. I kind of have like a similar sentiment with Bear McCreary, where it's not hit or miss. I noticed that he always seems to be attached to projects that typically tend to lean more towards like mixed to negatively mixed reviews.
But his music is still really fucking good in those.
That's what I'm saying. It's not any reflection.
It's so weird.
It's not any reflection on his work. It just, there's a lot of things wrong with Godzilla King of the Monsters, but Bear McCreary's score is not one of them.
Yep. A lot of things wrong with Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Bear's music ain't one of them.
I mean, Giacchino did the music for maybe all three. Yeah, all three of the minus the third one, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek films. A lot of wrong with that, but his music is not one of those.
Really great. Yeah. I do like the finale themes in each Jurassic World movie because it kind of combines his little new Jurassic World theme with John Williams' theme. And it blends so well. So well. I wish I was a singer. I would sing it, but I am not. So I'm not going to do that.
It might be even better if you're not a singer, though. So you should do it.
Come on, Jacob, give us a taste.
I hear the notes. I was an orchestra kid. I hear the notes in my head. It's cool that they realized that there's no Jurassic movie without John's music. There's no way. Even Rebirth gets it.
He did a great job on the John Williams covers. Like, you could have told me that, they just inserted John Williams' score and I wouldn't have been able to tell. Anyways, David, I'm sorry, you were saying something?
Oh, I was just going to ask Jacob, like, how Alexander Desplat did on Rebirth.
I don't want to spoil it for Nick or you, and I don't want to spoil it for the listeners.
I just want to know if it's good.
It was good.
Sick. Cool.
Damn, all right.
Good talk.
Do we still want to talk about Jurassic World, or do we want to take some time to shit over Fallen Kingdom and Dominion?
I'm good to focus on 2015.
Okay.
What you said earlier about like seeing the park being open and functioning, like I really, really do like that first act of where like Zach and I don't remember the other kid's name because they're not really all that interesting of characters. When they're going through the park, they're doing their thing. Like, I think that's really fun and interesting. Is it all that cool is it like good story? Just other than watching them go through the park?
Zach and Gray.
Gray.
God damn, Ty Simpkins grew up, dude.
Yeah, he did. Watching this a couple months ago, I was like, damn, he's young in this. Good Lord.
Excuse me, I'm going to have an existential crisis over the passing of time.
10 years old, man. The movie's 10.
It's crazy to think about. But like oddly enough, once the Indominus breaks out of containment and the movie proper starts is sort of when I start to lose interest. It's just like...
But that's when the action starts.
Okay. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, okay, well, we've been through this before. Sure, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just cynical and old and boring now.
Oh, you said it, not me.
David, you're forgetting one thing. This movie had a Jimmy Fallon cameo.
Oh, how could I forget?
It did?
Yeah, when they're in the hamster ball thing, Jimmy Fallon's the virtual guide, and he's like, "Oh no, I got venom all over me. Is this real? Oh, it is." And then he just quote unquote dies.
Good.
Just cringe. Yes.
David.
I also I'm just looking at the cast order of Jurassic World on Google. I love how Vincent D'Onofrio is, let's see, he's listed on the third line of actors and 4 behind Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon gets the bigger bill than the main villain.
That's kind of insane.
That's crazy.
For his grand total of 30 seconds of screen time.
The merchandise was cool.
You want to know what was cool merchandise? 2001 era Jurassic Park merchandise. After the third movie came out. You know what I'm talking about? They had the dark red yellow color palette.
Yeah.
We have the Hammond collection now.
I would pick up a Hammond collection in Dominus. I wish I got the Giganotosaurus, but I did not because Dominion really hurt my feelings. My favorite dinosaur growing up was Giganotosaurus.
Dominion hurt my soul. What a waste of Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. What a waste.
Honestly, that is the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues I have with Dominion. Even as a legacy sequel, it doesn't really do all that well because it doesn't do anything with those classic characters.
Because the only reason why they're there is probably because the studio looked at how bad Fallen Kingdom performed and realized that, oh shit, we set it up for a sequel. We kind of have to make it. People probably aren't going to like it. What do we do? Oh, and some fucking brain dead exec was like, I know what we do. We bring back... Remember Jurassic Park?
And it still made $1 billion.
I think it's because Goldblum had a cameo in Fallen Kingdom, and people liked that cameo.
I don't know why. It was just nostalgia bait.
Because it's Jeff Goldblum. You just put him in front of a camera and people are happy.
I know. As much as I like Jeff Goldblum, you cannot convince me that character in Dominion is Ian Malcolm. He's just Jeff Goldblum. Quirky Jeff Goldblum. All right, I have a way to close this out. So, David and I haven't seen Jurassic World Rebirth yet. Jacob, do you think that we will like this movie or not?
Oh, God.
All right, hold on. To put this into perspective, I have not seen a Gareth Edwards film I haven't liked.
David's going to like it. David and I's tastes tend to align more. and I tend to disagree with Nick a little more, and that's okay. That's totally fine. I'm going to go on a little rant here. Nick telling me that a movie I don't like is actually pretty good can sell me on reevaluating it, and he might change my mind. And I think that's really cool.
And also, you got to remember, like, we do have lives outside of this podcast and KU. Like, there is a lot that you and me...
I don't.
there is a lot that you and me, like, things that you and me both agree is good and that we have common ground on.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I feel like every time we put ourselves on, like, a public stage, for whatever reason, it's always the things we disagree on. I mean, the only thing I can remember is maybe when we talked about Final Wars.
Yeah, but it's okay. So I think David, and dude, I could be wrong. I could be way off base.
It's been the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, David could hate it. I think David's going to like it. I think, Nick, you will be in the middle.
I'm going in with no expectations. The first trailer had me really hyped and really excited. Then they had the trailer where they introduced the cutesy, merchandisable, obviously trying to be a cash-in on Baby Yoda hype dinosaur. And I'm just like, I'm probably going to hate this movie. Like, oh my God, no, not this trope.
This is why I think you'll be in the middle.
Okay.
I think that will be your least favorite part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very surprised at how little that thing was actually in the movie.
Okay.
I'm just trying not to spoil it, because if I say too much, I'll spoil it.
I hope I don't hate it, because I have to review this for KU, and I remember when I reviewed Wolfman, and I walked out of it being like, dude, what the fuck? I texted Jacob and I was just like, I don't like that I'm going to have to give this a bad review, because I feel like every time I've reviewed something publicly, it's always been either, this was all right, to like, this sucked. Like I rated Monarch Legacy of Monsters very like meh. I reviewed GXK very like meh. And then Wolfman was like, fuck this. This movie sucks.
On the contrary, I feel like sometimes I go a little too positive. So it's kind of nice that you are a straight shot. You will review it and you will give your thoughts, and I respect that.
That's true. And I mean, but like, I don't want to be perceived as like the guy who doesn't love anything.
I think I remember I made a bet with you on Wolfman on where I think your score was going to be. And I said 5. And your final rating was 4.5. See, and I would have given it a 6.
That 4.5 is a large majority of that was because of the third act was actually pretty enjoyable. But everything else, that movie was just cheeks.
If you go into this the same way you talked about 2015, where it's a fun dinosaur monster movie, I think you'll have fun.
Okay.
Everything you said about 2015, I saw in Rebirth. You're like, it's just a fun dinosaur movie. It knows what it is. That's what I saw in Rebirth. I was like, yeah. You will love the river raft scene. I think that's the highlight.
Do they convey that in a way that isn't just remember the book?
Okay, hold on. Here's the thing though. How many fans of the franchise have actually read the book? There is a huge disconnect between people who are watching these movies and who have actually read Jurassic Park the novel.
I read the first 3 chapters when I was in 9th grade. Does that count?
No.
Okay.
No, it does not.
Oh.
They used it as publicity, and I think that's where they went, hey, it's in the movie. They did it for marketing, but it is a sequence that is organically written into the film. And it actually has a lot of suspense and tension behind it. It's pretty good.
This can just be a yes or no answer if you can't really think of an answer that'll spoil it or not. In interviews, I'm not sure if it was from Edwards or from somebody else, I've heard it be described as a love letter to the original Jurassic Park. Would you say that is a valid statement?
I think that's too subjective to answer. I think in their hearts and minds, yes. To some other people, some other people, because he called it very Spielbergian. That's not a word, but I'm going to say it's a word. In that regard, it is. There's some heart and soul with Jonathan Bailey's character that embodies that spirit. But it's still a Jurassic World movie. You know what I mean? So I would say in the directing and the way they treat these animals, it's more of just animals being in our path. And that, to me, is what the original did the best. It's not the Indominus cloaking and then, whoa, they're just animals. They're big animals.
So it pretty much does away with how Jurassic World turned the Jurassic franchise into just like a monster movie franchise.
Yeah, they're just animals. Like the Mosasaurus sequence is spectacular. Because it's just doing it, like you see it in the trailers. It comes up like a whale and comes back down. I think the greatest strength you guys will get out of Rebirth is the way, Gareth knows scale. You've seen it in G14. You've seen it in Rogue One. You've seen it in even Monsters, and I don't like Monsters that much. I have never felt the weight and the mass behind the T-Rex more since the original. It feels big. Just in the way it moves and just in all that.
Does this movie have Gareth Edwards written all over it? Because when I saw the first trailer, one thing I said was it doesn't really have that like distinct Gareth Edwards style. Like, I don't know, like the creator, Rogue One, it just, I don't know. Something about it.
I didn't really get that. It seemed Edwards-y to me. My concern when he was announced as the director is because they had announced the movie as happening on this date well before he was announced as a director. So I was concerned, like, is he just being hired as a jobber, basically? But then the trailer came out, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this looks like a Gareth Edwards film. I'm down. So I'm kind of in the opposite camp there.
It might just be me, but when I saw that first trailer, I really didn't get that Edwards vibe that you got in films like Godzilla, The Creator, and Rogue One.
Okay, this is going to sound really weird. I had to think about it. It's a different kind of Edwards to me.
Okay.
I was kind of like, I didn't expect you to do that, sir. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Edwards is all over it. Like, the scale. The sheer size of the Titanosaurs is one of the greatest moments in the film. But then I think he blends it with the Spielbergian stuff I was talking about. Because the comparison I made was Kong Skull Island, Jurassic World kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's
you have my attention.
It's got those sequences that are very fun and thrilling and exciting and Hollywood. But then there's sequences where you see how large these animals are. And you see these grandiose shots of scale. Like, one of my favorite shots in the movie is in the trailer. It's when the T-Rex first notices the raft and you just see him step. And it's just such a fantastic shot on the big screen. I do have my gripes with the movie, but I want to wait till you guys have seen it to say. There's some shots at the end with, like, the D-Rex that were really cool that were not in the trailers, and I'm so happy they were not in the trailers. I think the Mudodons were kind of stupid.
Mudodons! Oh, wait, was it confirmed before that there were more than one?
Oh, shit.
No, there weren't. I got the sense that there was more than one.
Sorry, guys.
That's fine. That's a minor spoiler. That's not anything detrimental.
It didn't even seem like a spoiler to me because I just assumed there was more than one.
I thought it was like info out there. My bad.
No worries.
It might be, and Nick just didn't know.
Well, he's been avoiding it.
He missed that.
He's been really,
that's fair.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you think I could go either way on this movie, and you think David will like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think David's kind of good at just sitting back and just enjoying the ride and just turning his brain off.
I'm going in with very tempered expectations. I love Gareth Edwards. Jurassic World as a franchise has burned me too many times, so I'm going in with very tempered expectations.
I mean, if I like this movie, the bar wasn't very high to begin with. Like, if this is, I feel like there's a possibility I'll walk out of this going, well, it was better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, but that's not saying much.
So I would, honest to God, because I'm reevaluating all my scores based on my conversation with Mario. So I would bump the Honda documentary up to an 8. I would give this a 7, and I'd give GXK a 6.
Well, I also, you mentioned David is very good at turning his brain off. That's something like I can't do when I see new movies. Like, I always go in very critical. Like, I had to constantly remind myself to turn my brain off.
I can go in critically. Okay. Fuck you, Nick.
Okay, I didn't mean it like that. No. Oh my God.
Nick, you're my wild card.
I'm just giving you shit, Nick.
I need to see more of what movies you like, and then I can kind of tell. Like, I can go in. I knew Haley was gonna love Romulus. I knew Haley was gonna love Nosferatu. And I know that she's going to hate certain movies. I just know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not right. I mean, basically, it's anybody's guess on what I'll like.
My guess is you're going to go, it was okay. You're going to like
elements. I hope I like it. That's what I'm not being cynical. I'm not going to go in and be like, all right, well, here, let's get this shit over with. This is going to suck. I want to like it.
There's going to be elements you like, and then I think you're not going to like Dolores, the little critter.
Merchandisable.
Oh, she has a name? Oh.
Yeah. Oh man, my bad.
I don't care. That is something like that. I do not give a shit about being spoiled for. Oh no, I know the dinosaur's name. Oh God.
So you're not going to, I don't think you like Dolores, even if I
already know I'm not going to like Dolores. What the fuck kind of a name is Dolores? I'm sorry.
The little girl names it.
Is she a 60-year-old working at the DMV?
You'll have to see it and find out, Nick.
The family you see in the movie on the river raft, the younger looking boy is the boyfriend of the teenage daughter. I don't know if you'll like him, because he is kind of a lazy stoner sack of shit.
Oh my, probably not, because that will remind me of how I was in college, and I hate the way I was in college. I look back at that, I'm like, my God, slacker.
But the river raft, I think you'll like. I think you'll like the Mosasaur. I really enjoyed the Quetzalcoatlus sequence. And I really like the D-Rex. I don't know how to talk about it without saying more, but I really think you'll like aspects of this movie, and then you'll have some problems with it. But that's fair, right? That's a fair assessment.
Despite everything I've seen so far, I'm not going in with any expectations. If it turns out I don't like this, I'm not going to be surprised.
At least you weren't assigned to review Megan 2 or something.
Wait, why?
I don't know. It's just an example. It's not getting very good. It's not getting.
I'm seeing it. I'm going to see it tomorrow, so I'll let you guys know.
I'm very curious. I hope you have a good time, because I had a good time.
Look, I want to like it.
There hasn't been a movie that I've seen in a while where I was like, I hated this. So I'm kind of an easy sell. Even Wolfman, I was like, this script is bad, but I was entertained.
Wolfman hurt me. Well, that's also because I had just come fresh off watching The Invisible Man for the first time. What a masterpiece The Invisible Man was.
Oh, Invisible Man's fantastic.
You shot yourself in the foot with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully you enjoy it.
Well, if you've made it this far in the episode, tune in next week to find out. All right, well, I guess that'll do it for this edition, this dinosaur edition of Not Another Kaiju podcast.
Sick.
Not Another Dinosaur podcast.
Be sure to rate us 5 stars if you're listening on audio platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. This has been Nick, joined as always by Jacob Lingle and David Scrivani.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.